trust in the cow, and the cow will trust in you. You can, in fact, touch those. That's his line. The League of Legends World Championship is one of the highest profile esports events of the year, right? So you would think Riot Games would pull out all the stops to make sure the perfect meta is in store for players and for fans. Unfortunately, that hasn't always been the case. Juggernauts, anyone? Back on our worst ranked season video, commenter Gid Lives for Eons asked if I could either give you a list of my worst world's metas, or maybe I could even give you some of my favorite world metas. Let's start with the positive side and dig into some of our favorite metas from the past World Championships. But don't worry, we'll get to those worst metas just later, after we feel good, right? I mean, everyone wants to feel a little good. All right, let's start where it all began. No, I'm not talking about Season 1. That was chaos, definitely down there in Freak's basement. I'm talking about the first real World Championship tournament. Yes, in Season 2, the one held in LA. So here's what happened. In Season 1, roles weren't defined at all. Players basically just chose what champions they wanted to play, and that defined where they went on the map. That's how you ended up with double of playing Janna all the time. AD carries went mid, or sometimes top, and bruisers went down bot. Junglers needed hard leashes. It was a pretty crazy time. Then the European teams rolled up with their AD support bot lane duos, and everyone went, oh, so that's how it's supposed to work. And it kind of adopted it over the next few months. So a year later, the top jungle, mid, AD support team construction that we know today has been established, and teams had gotten a handle on what that meant. Season 2 was the year that Chinese superstar Wei Xiao on Team WE World Elite proved that AD carries belonged in the bot lane and showed they were a team fighting force to be reckoned with every single fight. One of the first masterminds of the jungle, Diamond Prox on Moscow 5, and then eventually Gambit Gaming, out of Europe showed everyone how to invade from the jungle, baffling his opposing counterparts. And of course, this was the event that proved two major things. Global abilities were very important, and Orianna was a team-fighting monster. Thanks, toys. Shen was everywhere around the map, and thanks to Wei Xiao's influence, Ezreal was controlling waves in every lane without having to be in those lanes using True Shot Barrage. CLG was running triple teleport comps. Basically, for the first time, League of Legends was being played the right way. Season 2 showed what League of Legends could be before its potential was fully fulfilled the next year at the Staples Center in Season 3. Plus, this was the year that the small team, Taiwanese team, TPA, shocked the world by bringing down tournament favorites after tournament favorites, marking them as the last team, not from Korea or China, to win the League of Legends World Championship. We can dream, LCS, can't we? Doesn't look good. There were tons of great drama too in 2012. What about the Azubu Frost cheating scandal? They were looking up at the screen while playing TSM. Also, you may know as Silver Scrapes Now as the Game 5 song, but we were absolutely sick of it after listening to it for like 8 hours straight due to technical delays. Oh, and Alistair was the most banned support in the game, but we'll get to that one in just a sec. Next up, Season 4, held in South Korea. That was the year that Samsung White became transcendent, crushing everyone in their path on the way to a world championship and cementing their place in the best team of all time conversation. But before we get into all that, hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Interestingly enough, League of Legends in 2014 didn't look that much different than it did in 2013. Whereas future preseason patches would completely change the way the game is played, Riot pretty much left League alone for those 2 years outside of the standard champion nerfs and buffs. So over those 2 years, teams got to really explore the game in that state. The result was a meta in which teams were constantly perfecting their craft, whether it be the double jungle strategy, or vision wars, or, and who could forget this, the tower-crushing lane swaps. Those stunk. The teams that found the most success in Worlds 2014 were the teams that were able to play the game as close to perfect as possible. For real analytical heads and hardcore League fans, it was the perfect meta. And well, the perfect meta. That was a good one. The Samsung White support was everything great about the 2014 meta. His vision control was impeccable, his engage instincts were near ideal, and his shot calling was incredibly suited to the state of the game at that time. In short, 2014 was as close to perfect as the state of the game was ever going to get, and the champion select showed that, to a degree. 4 champions had a pick ban rate of more than 90%. Maokai, Lee Sin, Zillion, and Alistair. Weird. There's the cow again. This time, he was 100% either picked or banned across the entire tournament. Weirdly enough though, that wasn't because he was contested as a support, but as a top laner. Basically, the cow would be able to squeeze in an auto attack as he was headbutting enemies away, meaning that if he bought a Sheen, he would be able to get a Sheen proc off for free and not take damage in the trade. It was pretty broken, bullied all the top laners, and therefore was banned 73 out of 78 games he was available for. And those remaining 5 games, he won 4 out of the 5 of them. See? Broken. 80% win percentage. And even despite Alistair's disgusting brokenness, 2014 was a great Worlds. And we didn't even have time to touch on Samsung White's impish mischievousness, or Looper and his grand final Singed pick, saying basically, sure, I'll throw this game so we can turn it into a skin, but we'll win the next one. And then he did. See? Great Worlds, and then Samsung White boys got to cash in by playing overseas. Nice little payout for them. Thanks, Rickbox. You had to get Looper and not Imp? Or Mata? Okay. Finally, on our chronological list is the 2018 League of Legends World Championship, also held in South Korea. If 2014 was the year where League of Legends was solved, 2018 was the year where the jigsaw puzzle was smashed to pieces. Since the 2014 season, it was pretty much accepted that the ranged AD champions, the marksmen, would go down in the bot lane paired with the support. And everyone was fine with that. It was like a GA of a GA. And then, somehow, things completely changed. Mages started popping up down south. Heimadinga! By my boy Deftly in the LCS, he made it first. Vladimir, and even Yasuo. The list of who went down to the bottom lane exploded. The experimentation trickled up to the other lanes as well. Urgot and Aatrox were played both in top and mid from the get-go. And as the tournament went on, so was Aurelia. Akali started with a slow start, but saw a huge win percentage by the end of it as she was picked by better and better players. Whereas in the previous tournaments, the teams that played perfectly were rewarded, in 2018, chaos reigned supreme. Samsung White played perfectly in 2014, and that's what we lauded them for, and they won. Then in 2018, G2 embraced an imperfect but proactive play style. Picks and bans were a thing of chaotic beauty. Teams would take flex picks early on in the draft, daring their opponent to try and counter them, then shift those champions to other lanes as soon as they did for a better matchup. It added a whole new level of strategy, one that was a blast to watch, teams figure out, and fans figure out in real time. It forced solo lane players to practice champions they would never have considered before. Top laners who would previously could just say, pick me Maokai, I'll just tank, now had to learn Akali. They had to figure out how to carry with Aatrox. Mid laners had to learn to be tanks. And of course, AD carries had to learn to play bot lane, and the AD carry lane became bot lane. One trick's be gone, you have no power here. Caitlyn mains, we lost her power. The teams that succeeded in the end were those that figured out how to best take advantage of all the flexibility in the draft. And the team that took it home, Invictus Gaming, just so happened to have the best solo laners in the biz at that time in the Shy and Rookie. But most importantly, Alistair was the second most contested pick in the main event, sitting at a 97% pick and ban rate. So, anyone notice a pattern here? A lot of Alistair during the good Worlds tournaments. Trust in the cow, and the cow will trust in you. Basically, if Riot wants to do a Worlds well, they better buff the big boy. Let those EQ combos fly, Rito. You can, in fact, touch those. That's his line. Do you like any of the Worlds metas other than these? Let us know in the comments below. I'll be watching. You never know if we're going to make a video on it.